What it do? It's your boy, Illuminated D. And you know what I'm saying? We back with another one. The first thing I want to do is thank you to everybody
This
who's
call is
liked
no
and
longer being
commented.
recorded.
And to all the subscribers, Pops and I want to let you know how much we really appreciate you. For you to come and spend your time with us and consume the content. While we understanding that you have busy lives, we want to thank you and bless. Well, family, earlier me and Pops were having a conversation, and we were basically talking about individuals and how they take advantage of other individuals, and people have to be more discerning on the individuals that they let in their life and the people that they help. So, for prime example, there's a guy that I know that is he's married and great dude, he's a great dude and he's married. But see, the sad part about it is he's the only contributing factor to his household. So whenever he wants to go and do extracurricular things, you know, although he's a great family man and a great dude, he has to go and give plasma to get an extra 50 just to be able to go out and do stuff. Pops, like, what you think about that?
Listen, I think that is absolutely positively despicable. You know what I'm saying? That a person will have to, go give plasma or blood just to have extra funds, man. It's just it's unrealistic. And that's why I believe, I used to have that mindset that once a man attained a certain level of success, that if he met the right woman, she's cooperative, she's supportive, loyal, fit, feminine, submissive, all those great things. If you had the earning potential, you could possibly take this woman up under your fold and provide for her. But the only problem with that is, let's keep it a buck and let's keep it real. In today's times, I don't know that it would be wise for any man to bring a woman up under his fold and she bring nothing but, she brings no type of earning potential to the table. All she brings is herself, outside of her body and maybe her feminine energy. If she has that, that's all she bringing. That's unfortunately that could potentially have you, like my man, going to the blood bank or going to the plasma bank.
So you're basically saying if the only thing she has to provide is sex and cooking and just a good energy, you saying that's not it.
That's not enough, because the average man should know how to cook for himself. The average
Yeah,
man should not need to have to depend on eating out all the time. The average man should be able to cook a couple meals for himself. If he cannot, then there's something wrong. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I mean, outside of her body, what was the other thing you said? So outside of
cooking, cleaning,
cooking, and
and
what was
good
the other
energy.
thing? And cleaning. I mean, you can pay for a
Yeah,
housekeeper.
that's true.
So
Yeah, my thing is just you know we were talking about my circumstance, and it's a crazy situation, but the hard part I think is like when somebody loves somebody. This goes for women too. Like, you can love a dude all you want and put everything in front of him, but if he gonna be a pookie and he just gonna stay at home, feet kicked up, and playing a video game, or if the old lady, she just doesn't have the credentials, or he doesn't have the credentials, I mean, like, is there ever a means to an end? Like, I've definitely heard miraculous stories about people turning their life around, but it's like, what else are you supposed to do when you're going in the hole and you're giving your all, but you love the individual, but you're going in the hole, like you're burning through the bread. You can't save anything because you got to take care of multiple mouths, and you only got one paycheck or one earning potential. What do
you're
you do
asking me
then?
what is a person to do?
Yeah, what would be your ideal remedy for that?
Self-preservation.
So Darwin's theory.
Self-preservation. You understand what I mean by that, right?
Yeah, only the strong will survive.
Yeah. So that means that for whatever the reason, if it ever get to a point that your significant other, your girlfriend, your fiance, whoever, once you get to the point that you are in a position where you got to go give blood, a conversation need to be had with her, because, and that's why it's important to understand what type of woman that you're getting involved with. Because if you get involved with a woman who has no real work history, no real job history, doesn't have a resume that she could stand on, who's gonna hire her for a decent paying job? When I mean decent, at least they're gonna give you some type of medical, health benefits, dental benefits, anything short of that. If you working for a company and all you doing is going to work, you're not accruing no vacation days, no sick time, you just pretty much getting 2 days off, and then you
Legal
back at
slavery.
work again. That's not a that's just, yeah, that's being a slave. You're a slave to the system. So I, I just think that when I say self-preservation, if a man can't able to take care of himself, how's he gonna take care of his lady? So that's why I say, if you're not in a good position, maybe you ought to hold off on y'all moving in together unless she's okay with that 50-50 mindset. It depends on what
I
your
mean,
financial position is.
see, my problem with that is like people today are so gung ho on this older generation. Like, what was what were they? Your generation X, right? So who came? So the baby boomers. We thinking
Mm-hmm.
of baby boomers. So people are
Mm-hmm.
so gung ho on the baby boomers mindset. But see, back then, women didn't have the same rights that women have now, where they have
Right.
the ability to have earning potential. And now you got a lot of women that are making 100,000, 200,000, just alongside the men. So what I'm
Right.
looking at is like, in hindsight, we live in a different economy where inflation is houses cost triple what they did cost back in the day. You know what I'm saying? A three bedroom, two bath is going for $400,000. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not like the old days where a man could just go out and just work and be able to supply for the house, the food, the car note, the kids' clothes, everything. And even if he was back then, he was working himself to the bone and dying on the job just to take care of his family.
Right.
So I'm looking at today's time and I'm like, is it really fair for a man to go out there and slave himself with no resolution just to take care of somebody? And then they be like, oh well, I want more out of life. So he's trying to be a good dude. He goes and gets cheated on because what I'm saying, he not able to give her the life that he wants. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, on the outside looking in, I'm just like, everybody should be contributing to the uh to the household in some sort of way. It may not be 50-50, but at least thirty
Right.
seventy.
It
You
should
know
be
what I'm saying?
something. Right. Right. The woman should. Right. And that's why I say the woman should contribute something. I'm not saying she contribute as much as a man, because I think the man should be in a position, if he's gonna have somebody living with him now. I mean, I will hope that, because you got to understand, every man might not be able to do 70-30, 60-40. You're gonna have some men who their earning potential is only going to allow them to do 50-50. So as long as a woman is okay with that and she understands the situation that we're in now, then that's okay. Then we're golden. But if the dude know he can't do no 60-40, but the woman is requiring that, well, then now you're gonna have a disconnect.
Well, I guess that's where they say you got to date in your class, or date, you know what I'm
Right.
saying, date in
Pretty
your
much.
your your tax
But what
bracket.
is
You
that?
got to date
Okay,
in your
but
tax bracket.
but who does that apply to, men or women?
I mean, that only applies to men.
Exactly. And you know what? That's messed up, because we telling men to date in their class, but when you see these women, what sets them apart? If they really and truly, they don't have, I mean, if they got a couple kids, or they done caught a whole bunch of bodies, what give them the right to say what class that they what so how do they get to determine their own value on the
Well, I
on
mean,
the dating market?
I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I just look at it like, a man will look at a homeless chick and be like, ooh, shawty thick. I don't know, like, I guess it's because a lot of people's standards are really low, but a dude will see a chick on the street walking and will find value in her. But if a woman sees a man walking, she can't find it. She won't find any value in him. She'll just be like, oh, he's a bum. He's a
See,
dusty. He doesn't have he doesn't
mm,
have he
see,
doesn't
I
have
don't
any
know about.
potential. Basically, I've never seen it.
Well, I don't know because I've heard stories where there was just a dude on the internet that was saying he was looking for some place to stay. And he was, I mean, he was a, decent looking dude. He was in shade, had the light colored eyes, brown skinned dude. And
That's
he,
pretty
all
privileged.
kind of chicks was hitting him up saying, oh, you can come stay with me. The AC blowing cold over here. Oh, you can
But
come over, you can come stay with me. The Wi-Fi jumping. Bro, these
what they
women
call
didn't know this dude from Adam.
what they call that pretty privilege. I mean, I guess you
Well,
could say handsome privilege, but you know
yeah,
that they say like the better you look. I mean, the more, and it's a sick world that people would base it off of looks. But if you see a baddie on the street, I guarantee she won't be on the street long. But if you see a duck, you gonna probably
yeah,
leave the duck on the street right where it's at.
right. That's true. That's
So I
true.
mean, it's just it's a sad reality that people base looks off personal value and they don't actually base it off characteristic. But you know, a
Right.
lot of times when you when you see somebody, that's the first interaction that you have before you even know their character. So that's what creates the attraction.
That's true. But you can't base it on the outside characteristics of a person because
You
you might see
should.
a chick that, man, she's gorgeous, but she might have caught 100 bodies or more.
Whew.
What can you do with that?
I mean,
I mean,
I mean, if you don't ever ask, I guess you never know.
well, but you will know because a woman like that, you think she gonna stop her wicked ways just cause she with you? What's so special about you that didn't apply to those other 100 bodies she caught?
I mean, you see them do it all the time, pops. They go out in the streets, catch hella bodies, and then they want to settle down.
And then look at but yeah, they want to settle down, but that's because the men not holding the line. That's because the men know they don't caught all these many bodies, but they so desperate just to have a chick that they willing to accept whatever. And that's at some point, people got to have standards.
I mean, look, I'm gonna tell you, it's different regions for different people, but what I have learned is honestly, there's a small percentage of dudes that are really getting all the chicks, and you
Oh,
know
of course.
the sick part about it is when I was in Korea, you would catch me with a dime a dozen. But see,
Right,
and I will be surrounded in a flock. And when I'm out
right.
with one bad Joan, the rest of the bad Jones come out and they gonna show love. And they might try to get some too. But see, then you go
It
to
was
the
listen, it was
restaurant.
listen. When I was your age in Korea, it was the same way for me too. So you're not really, you know what I'm saying? You're not really telling me that it's real prolific because I had it
Well,
like
that's
that too. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Well, you did. But think about how many times I'll be out at the restaurant and it's just the dudes sitting there with the homies, and they don't never got no chick, and it's the same ones every single weekend. Not married, no
Maybe
girl,
because the
no
dude ain't got
nothing.
no motion. Maybe the dude ain't got no motion. I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. What type of dude is this? Is he in shape? Is he does
That's
he
my
look disheveled? I
that's my
mean,
point. That's my point.
well,
They
that's why he ain't got
dating.
no. That's why he ain't got no box. You know what I'm saying? That's why he with his homeboy all the time. You know?
I mean, it's a sad reality, pops. I mean, everybody deserves love, right?
Yeah, and I think eventually everybody will find it, but it might not be what you always envisioned it to be. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
It may not look like what you wanted to have your hopes and dreams and what you thought it was gonna look like. It might not look like that. Unfortunately,
that's
you know,
sad, pops.
it just
It's sad.
depends.
It's sad.
But
I feel like people they should. I mean, but that's the thing. In the reality that we live in, everybody has the right to choose who they're attracted to.
right, but to get it back to the original talking point, you ain't nowhere in the world that somebody should be giving blood and they already working a 9 to 5. That's crazy to me. So something's wrong. especially if his wife is able-bodied. Man, I don't know. Listen, that's why I say if you have to know the woman you're dealing with, you have to have conversation with her, because if this is her expectation that you pay all the bills, and you know from a financial standpoint, and at some point men have the wherewithal to sit down and do the math, crunch the numbers. I make this much a year, and to have this kind of lifestyle is probably going to take this much a year. You know what I'm saying? It's just like doing basic math. You make
Yeah,
this much a
that's true.
year and subtract that from what is going what the lifestyle that she wants. You subtract that from that, and then you whatever that number is, that's where you short at, and you're gonna have to find a way to make up that difference.
Mm.
You see, so you got to have a conversation,
So
and
are you basically saying if they can't meet the expectation, then sometimes you just gotta let them go?
you probably can't get you probably can't get married.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
because
yeah,
it just depends.
then
But
the burden
most
falls on
women,
you solely.
yeah, but most women, most women might not be. I think nowadays, most women probably won't be unreasonable like that. They'll see the value in contributing something. I believe most women on average. Now
Nah,
you're gonna
look,
have those
no,
ones that's
you're right.
delusional
You're right. No, you're right. Most of them will.
on
Most of
average,
them will.
especially nowadays, as hard as it is now. All that stuff about, oh, why should I pay 50-50 when I can pay 100 and be by myself? Why should I pay 50-50 with you? See, they don't came up off that rhetoric. They done came up off that. See, all it took was a listen, tariffs. You know what I'm saying? You go spend $300 in the grocery store, and you can look down and still see the
For
bottom of the
real.
floor. You can see your basket. Man, listen, all it takes is for one little government shutdown, and you notice how quickly they started it back up just in time for Thanksgiving. Bro, these people know what they're doing. So women, they done came up off that by and large. They
Nah,
biking
you
up
right.
off that.
Nah, you right. I think a sensible individual will make, what I'm saying, reasonable acclimation or adjustments to the lifestyle so that they can both live the lifestyle that they want. Because remember, I
Absolutely.
remember I was telling you, like, I know a chick and she was like, look, I would absolutely love to have a dude that lives with me. That's what she said. She said, I would love to have a dude that lives with me and pays 50-50 and goes half, because she's like,
Oh my
it's
God. Can
hard
you
out here.
imagine the money you could save?
Uh,
Oh,
sheesh.
listen.
For real.
And if you think about it, that's not a bad play, because think about the money that you can save. You already got in-house pool nanny. I mean, what
True.
what more you need? I
Very
mean, if you really
true.
gonna look at it, if you gotta look at you got more pros than cons, so to speak. But the one con you do have is you got to understand that there's always gonna come that time where everybody gonna want their space.
Yeah,
So
that is true. That is true. We live in a
even
different
women,
time.
even women want their space. I'm telling you.
That is so true. Because I
No,
mean, I
I
think
don't
it's
think no chick. I mean, I'm not gonna say that a woman can't live with you, but if she's still working, still getting out the house, doing shit, that's her space. You see
yeah,
what I'm saying? So I think at some point, everybody needs their space, but your space that looks different. When you look at the situation, if you living with somebody and you like your space from time to time, you got to understand you can still get your space, but that space might come when you go to the gym, or you go hang out with one of your boys or something like that. It may not be the same as when you live by yourself, because now you no longer live by yourself. So everybody deserves and needs their space, but understand that when you incorporate somebody else in your life, meaning you don't move them in your house, well, that's gonna look different. That space thing gonna look different.
that's true. You're right. Yeah, I mean, that is true. I guess that's why a lot of dudes, what I'm saying, everybody has like their man cave, or they have their, what I'm saying, their girl time and homie time, because, I think it's important to have time to yourself to be able to rejuvenate, to be able to, focus, and
And that's important.
evaluate your life.
That's important. You always have to reassess your life. I don't care how successful. a man get, or anybody, it don't matter, man or woman, you have to reassess your life. You even if you're in a good place financially, you still got to reassess though, because you still want to try to grow in wealth. I don't know anybody who have wealth that don't want to get more wealth.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
you still got to reassess. And even if you don't want to garner any more wealth, you still got to reassess, because you don't want to find that you blowing through money on BS stuff when you could be saving this money and investing this money. So that's where the reassessment comes about. You see?
That's true. Yeah, you're right about that. You are right. I mean, I guess it's just one of those things where you got to pick your partner wisely, because they say if you pick the wrong partner,
Mm.
they'll take you. They'll just
Ooh, Lord.
they'll just they'll
They'll
you know what I'm
take you
saying? They'll
through it.
destroy you. They'll
Yeah.
It's like they just destroy your reality. They kind of destroy your reality because you know what I'm saying, like, a good partner is going to help you elevate, and a bad partner is
Right.
just going to make you disintegrate.
See,
That's
this is
just
the
what it
thing. How do
is.
you so what do you think you should look for to determine if a woman gonna be a good partner? What do you think you ought to look for? Give me three things.
I think respectful characteristic, mannerism, and loyalty. I would say respectful, um, proper mannerism, knowing how to communicate, and loyalty. I think.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that all comes with the financial piece of it. But I do believe that if they have those three things and they have earning potential, then they're probably the perfect candidate, especially if you're
Right, but
attracted
see,
to them.
hold on. Now that's four things. You added earning potential. That's only you can only have three. So that's you added four. So now that's what I
Okay,
was
okay,
going.
okay, okay, okay. Let me give you my three.
Well, hold
Okay, you
on, but
gotta
hold
have.
on. But see, it's too late now. You don't made your choice. You gotta
Okay, go ahead,
stand
go
on
ahead.
it. So
Okay,
now
go
what
ahead.
happens if you meet a girl who is all those things, but unfortunately you're gonna have to kick out a couple $1,000s every so often to make sure that she okay, because she can't get she probably is, the odds of her, getting a solid career field, she probably won't, because that's just not how she's designed. That's not how she's wired. All these many years, she's just been just getting by. So what do you do about that? Are you okay with, is that important? As long as she have all those things you spoke of, but she just don't have the earning potential.
You know, I've come across many different individuals in my life. I've come across some that had that and they didn't have the earning potential, and they were just getting by and making it work. And then I've come by some that did have it, and I'm saying it just. I mean, in that circumstance, I don't know, pops. I guess it just depends on how much you really like them, and if you're willing to do it. You know what I'm saying? But I think in hindsight, after you see it and after you feel what you want in life, most times you're probably gonna go with the better option. You're gonna go with the option that's gonna allow you the peace of mind and the security. Because just as much as women want security, I believe men want security too. They
Oh,
want to be secure in
absolutely.
their relationship.
So, so okay, let's just say you have this woman who fit all those characteristics, but she didn't have the earning potential. But then there's another woman who makes, I don't know, say 100,000 a year. She's fit, nice looking, you know what I'm saying? But she might be a little on the masculine side, just a little bit. So, but everything else is there. She's loyal, she's respectful, but she's just a little bit on the masculine side, because for women to be competitive in this man's world, they have to take on a little bit of that masculine energy. Otherwise, how can a woman go do a job in law enforcement
True.
or a job in the medical field? So those are usually typically historically male oriented driven career fields. So how can a woman do these things unless she take on a little bit of that masculine energy? So would that be acceptable? Could you work with that?
I mean, if if we can communicate properly, you know what I'm saying? I think people are like women are submissive to who they want to be submissive to. So I think if
Right.
we can communicate properly, I wouldn't have a problem with it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's okay to voice your opinion. It's okay to get upset sometimes if everything isn't seeming like it should be going. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to communicate on those things. And if you just got somebody that's going to roll over and just take everything that you give them, I mean, I
Right.
don't even know if you'd want that. You might get bored
No, no,
with that. I don't know
I
if that.
agree. No, I agree. I agree that submissive don't mean that a woman should just don't have no opinion. That's not what I think what it is. It's about how you communicate. And effective communication, you have to listen and really take in what the person is saying so you can respond to it accurately. But now, you have to let people get their thoughts off. But sometimes with some women that got a little bit of that masculine side, they tend to they don't know when to kind of like cut off and let the man, okay, now you've been talking for 20 minutes. Can I at least get like 5? And then as soon as they acknowledge and realize what they're doing, and they say, yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry. And as soon as you start talking, they cut you off again. See, that's a problem in the
Well, I've met
communication.
chicks like that. I met some chicks like that, and you remember there was that one that I was talking to. I was talking to one, right? Remember the one I brought to the crib one time? Young Joan, you know what I'm saying? She was bad thick, you know. I won't
Man,
say
it's
her
been.
name
I mean, I
because
would be honest. It's been honest with you. It's been quite a few. So, what you just described, that could be anybody. You know what I'm saying? Any of the
well
usual suspects.
well, I would say one day I was gonna fly her out. You know, this is before I got into my situation, and I was gonna fly her
Okay.
out,
Right.
and everything was cool. Everything was cool, but then all of a sudden, she just had like this pent up trauma on
Mm.
me going to Korea, right? And how we just didn't communicate
Mm.
every single day. And for
Oof.
me, I was like, listen, I enjoy talking to you, but I'm not gonna sit on the phone for 5 hours and sit here on a weekend and you know what I'm saying, and just do that every single weekend. I said personally, I have a life. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
understand that you went through some stuff. You went through some traumas. You had a baby. I mean, she said a lot of things that happened, and then I was like, listen, personally for me, I'm not gonna sit here on the phone for hours and hours at a time and just do that. I said when I'm in a whole new country and I'm trying to have a great time. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
got things that I want to do, goals that I want to accomplish while I'm here. So I said, let it be. So long story short, I moved from Korea, I come back to the States. And then I'm about to fly her out. We about to have a good time. I'm at the brand new crib, that mug balling, right? About to fly her
Right.
out. I got the ticket and everything. And then it was like she would go into these spirals talking about the situation. I'd be like, well, let's get past this. And then she would just go into a rage and she wouldn't know how to cut it off. And I said,
Yeah,
you know
that's
what?
crazy.
I said, when we're having our conversation, now I said, you're so angry and you're so frustrated that you're just saying anything. I said, I really just don't want to be around you because I'm losing my attraction as you're inside of your communication style on
Right.
how we're
Right.
having
Right.
these conversations. So I said, I'm really just losing the attraction altogether. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna
Right.
go ahead and delete the ticket. And I said, you
Mm.
can stay where you're at and we can stop communicating altogether. And I said, you
Mm.
can lose my number. And I said,
Mm.
we don't ever have to talk again. Because I couldn't sit there and have these arguments every single time when it's like we find a good space and then you bring it back to this conversation. We have the conversation, we lay it to rest, and then we come right back to it. And then it's an
Yeah, that's a
argument. And I'm
problem.
like, I can't sit there and do that 24/7. I'm
That's
like,
the
I need
problem.
my peace of mind.
First of all, I don't know why you even allowed her to think y'all could be in a relationship for a year and you in Korea. I don't even know why you even let her down. I wouldn't even let her even delude herself into believing that that was even possible.
I tried to communicate it, but people just don't want to take no for an answer sometimes. They just want what they want and they just won't not take reality. Even though you're saying, listen, I think we need to just be friends while I'm here. We'll communicate. We'll see how well we communicate while I'm here. Let's just go that route instead of trying to lock it in because when life starts taking effect, you know what I'm saying? An hour conversation, 2 hours conversation is a great topics. It's great.
Right. Right.
I don't need 10 hours. I don't need to sit on the
Yeah,
phone and
that's
watch you fall
crazy,
asleep.
man. That's
I don't need to do that.
Yeah, I would have
I'm not.
never. I don't even know if I would have even agreed remotely agreed to that, because that's just that was going to be a problem. It's just impossible. It's unreasonable. It's listen. Even if you was in, even if she was in, I don't know, New York and you was in Georgia, y'all in the United States, and that would still be unreasonable. So imagine you being in Korea and her being in the United States. That's just it's just to me it's just delusional to even think that somebody gonna be in a relationship and think that you're gonna keep them on the phone for hours on end. Who paying for this? Who paying for this phone call?
It was Wi-Fi.
Well,
They got the
so
apps.
okay, yeah. Well, but still, I'm not trying to be sitting on the phone for no 10 hours.
Yeah,
Who
nah, that's
does
crazy.
that?
I don't know. But hey, pops, look, I know you got to get ready. You got to go do your thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. You got anything you want to say to the people?
No, I think we covered a lot of different talking points, but main thing, just be careful who you select and who you choose, because you choose the wrong person, it might not turn out so well for you.
All right, family. Well, we all want to be successful. We all want to be somewhere in life. But in order to do that, you got to do something that you ain't never done before. And that's the reason that we're doing this right here, right now. Everybody be blessed, be safe. We out. Peace.